The Moon Daughter. Chapter 15. Selena drifted out of a dream filled with drifting snowflakes and crimson moons. Dim blue light seeped past the curtains, smudging gentle shadows across the chamber. She was warm beneath the quilt, cheek pillowed against Ronan's bare shoulder, his steady breathing vibrating softly through her ear. Astra lay in the quiet of her mind like a silver ribbon, content and watchful. The wolf's calm reassurance melded with Selena's own racing thoughts until the thrum of what-ifs slowed to something softer, more certain. Ronan stirred. His arm tightened around her waist, thumb drawing idle patterns above the edge of her nightdress. He blinked up at the ceiling, then turned his head just enough to see her. His voice was husky from sleep. "Is the sun late? Or are we?" "We're ahead of duties for once," she whispered. She traced a crescent-shaped scar on his collarbone. "I like it." He caught her hand, pressing a kiss to her knuckles. "A commander who loves morning skipped sunrise," he teased. "Even commanders deserve a quiet dawn." She brushed her lips across the hollow of his throat. The faint frost bloom still shimmered where her fingertip had drawn it across his skin the night before. It glowed, then faded as their bodies shifted, the magic feeling less like a weapon and more like a heartbeat. Kalis rumbled deep inside Ronan's chest, the wolf's presence thrumming with unhurried pride. Astra sent a ripple of warmth in answer, two instincts curling around their hosts in wordless agreement that this peace was worth guarding. Selena rolled onto her back, staring at the coffered ceiling. She spoke softly, as though voicing the thought might break the spell. "I never knew safety could feel like this. It's so quiet I can hear my own hopes." He propped up on an elbow. "Name one." "That we'll keep choosing each other no matter who questions it." A gentle smile lifted one corner of his mouth. "That's not hope, Frostborn. That's a certainty." His words settled inside her like freshly fallen snow, soft, bright, and unshakable. She turned her head to meet his eyes. "Your certainty is frightfully persuasive." Years of practice commanding stubborn soldiers. He brushed hair away from her face. "You changed how I see strength and vulnerability. Before you, I thought shields kept people out. Now I know that real strength lets someone in." Her throat tightened, "And I learned surrender doesn't mean losing. It means finally resting." She drew a breath that sounded like a laugh. "Listen to us. Soft as butter at dawn. Only with each other." He leaned down to kiss her, slow and unhurried. They would have lost another hour to drowsy conversation and unhurried touches if bells had not echoed faintly from the yard, signaling first muster. Ronan groaned, rolling onto his back. Council waits for no dawn lovers. Selena sat up, pulling her braid over one shoulder. "We could make them wait. And invite Vaughn to break down the door. I'd rather face 3 shadow weavers." He swung his legs over the edge of the bed. They dressed in comfortable silence. She in a fitted dove-gray tunic and leggings tucked into fur-lined boots. He in dark trousers and a charcoal shirt beneath his cloak. She fastened the ring crafted from his father's knife handle to a thin chain around her neck, the rune etched into iron resting against her heartbeat. His eyes softened when he saw it. "Remind me to craft a proper ring soon," he said. "And it's perfect." She rose on tiptoe to kiss him. "Now let's pacify the council." They stepped into corridors alive with crisp air and boot scuffs. Guards greeted them with respectful nods but no stiff wariness, a change Selena still felt in her bones. In the council chamber, Jonas, Vaughn, and Reese waited at the long oak table, parchment maps spread around like pages in an oversized book. Elders Nadra and Auric sat to one side, quills poised. Ilyana stood near a narrow window, pale light catching the streaks of silver in her dark hair. "Morning," Jonas said brightly. "We thought Frost had glued you two to the mattress." Vaughn grunted. "I took bets on who was making coffee by now." Selena flushed, but the warmth in the room cushioned any embarrassment. She took her place at Ronan's left. Kalis's proud hum threaded through their bond. Astra mirrored it. Ronan laid his hands on the table's edge. Conclave convenes in 3 days. We need every guest to arrive feeling safe and respected. Jonas, which packs confirm travel? Riverstone, Thornpine, Silver Ridge, and 2 minor clans from north of the Spine have sent letters. He pointed to the map. Riders escorting each, expected within a day. Vaughn added, I've doubled guard rotations along the East Road. Reese tapped a weather blotter. Low clouds but clear paths. Selena folded her hands. When the Alphas arrive, they'll look for any hint of weakness. Doubt will spread faster than winter fever if they sense division. Oryx's brows rose. Some will question why a Frostborn sits at the Alpha's right, especially one rumored to reshape wards with a thought. Ronan answered before she could. She sits here because she earned it. Any Alpha who doubts can bring doubts to me. Kalis pulsed satisfaction at his decisive tone. Selena murmured a thank you with her eyes alone. Nadra's stern mouth softened. And if they instead bring questions, we'll answer with calm. Ilyana placed a sphere the size of a plum onto the table. Pale light drifted inside. The closer the blood moon draws, the quicker frost currents rise. We must reinforce the courtyard runes before guests arrive. Selena nodded. I'll lead a warding session after midday. Council moved on. Supply lists, sleeping quarters, backup snow larders. Ronan delegated without hesitation, weaving Selena's suggestions into each decision. By the time Oryx set his quill down, tension eased around the room like steam leaving a cup. As they filed into the corridor, Hilda approached carrying a tray of warm seed cakes. Mirren trailed after, balancing a basket of dyed cloth. Corin and Lisa skipped ahead, cheeks bright in the cool hallway. Breakfast for the conquering lovers, Hilda declared, pressing a cake into Selena's hand. Council food is dull, Myron added. You'll work better on a sugar rush. She thrust the basket of cloth at Ronan. Banners for the guest hall. Corin and Lisa picked the colors. Ronan smiled at the children. Any instructions? Corin puffed out his chest. Hang the blue and silver near the musicians so everyone sees them. Lisa tugged Selena's cloak hem. And put the river stones we brought by the main gate. They keep nightmares away. We'll do both, Selena promised. She took a bite of seed cake, savoring sweet honey and crunchy poppy. Perfect. Ronan watched her, warmth pooling in his eyes. Selena felt Astra's pleased thrum. This easy acceptance was the real miracle. She quickly swallowed. Let's help with decorations. They followed Myron into the great hall, now bustling with villagers stitching long swaths of cloth into streamers. Hilda supervised from a stool, cane tapping out a steady rhythm. Selena knelt beside Lisa at a heap of ribbons, letting the girl instruct her on knotting bright loops. Ronan climbed a ladder with Corin hanging 2 broad banners, one deep indigo emblazoned with Crescent Fang's moonwolf, and another pale silver stamped with a cluster of stars. Corin beamed down. Looks perfect. Ronan saluted him with the hammer. Across the hall, Selena caught his eye and felt a gentle wave of affection roll through their bond. Kylas's approving hum washed over them both. Astra's emotional whisper brushed Selena's senses. Home. When the midday bell rang, Selena slipped away to the ward yard, a walled square used for training apprentices. She drew runes across the flagstones with a chalk pouch, her frost sparking to life beneath each symbol. Hilda arrived to watch, Mirren at her side carrying a ledger. Ronan joined shortly with Vaughn and Jonas. They all knelt to learn Selena's breaths. Inhale 4 counts. Exhale on the rune's name. Even Vaughn lost his stony expression when frost whirled around his fingers without blistering. Not bad for an old soldier, Selena teased. Vaughn snorted. Old, I'll outrace those children any day. Then teach them frost focus tomorrow. She winked. By late afternoon, the first delegation banners fluttered on the approach road. Mounted outriders in blue and green trotted under the arch. Lady Era, wrapped in pale fur, dismounted gracefully and strode toward the veranda. Selena and Ronan met her there. Your keep shines, Alpha, Era said. She turned to Selena and produced a small parcel of candied river petals. a sweet for the frostborn. Thank you, Selena said, accepting with a slight bow. Ira's smile held no hidden edge today. You calm a room by standing still. It's a gift. Selena's cheeks warmed. Calm as learned, I once shook like loose snow. Ronan introduced her to Jonas and Vaughn. As they led her inside, hoofbeats sounded again, this time a single rider in silver and black. The man swung down, hair like burnished oak, eyes quick with curiosity. Ronan lifted a brow. Alpha Kalen of Silver Ridge, the newcomer announced, striding forward to clasp forearms with Ronan. I arrive early. Couldn't resist meeting the Frostborn. Selena stepped forward. Welcome. Kalen's gaze swept her, appreciative but respectful. Your reputation is half prophecy, half legend. I wonder which half is true. All legend is rooted in breath and blood, she answered easily. You'll find I bleed and breathe like anyone. He laughed, and yet standing here my own breath feels shorter. Ronan's mouth flattened. He placed a gentle hand at the small of Selena's back. Crescent Fang's hospitality is broad, but our time is tight. We'll escort you to quarters. Kalen offered a courtly bow. Lead on. I'm eager to see how Crescent Fang matches rumor. As they walked, Kalen asked Selena about frostcrafting. She answered briefly, noting Ronan's polite silence. By the threshold of the guest wing, she sensed faint tension flickering from him through their bond. Kalis's low growl confirmed jealousy. It surprised her, a new thread threading between them. She glanced up at Ronan. We'll see you at supper, Alpha Kalen. He inclined his head. I look forward to more stories. They moved away. Selena laced her fingers through Ronan's. You're growling inside, she murmured. Am I? He cleared his throat. Maybe a little. Unnecessary, I'm yours, but I admit, she dropped her voice. I felt jealousy yesterday with Era. It startled me. He stopped near a pillar hung with frost lanterns. I never understood jealousy until you. It's not distrust. It's unexpected fear of losing something I never dreamed I'd have. Astra pressed soft comfort into Selena's chest. She lifted his hand to her lips. You never will. Not to a smile or a flirtation. Wind whistled through the hall windows. He leaned down to kiss her softly, their shared breath warming the winter-chilled air. Kalis's rumble faded into pleased calm. Astra answered with a soothing hush. They stood together until dinner bells rang, pulses steady, bond strengthened by honest words. Evening candles filled the banquet hall with cinnamon-hued light. Long tables glittered under silverware polished so bright, Ronan teased Jonas that faces could be smoothed in them like mirrors. Selena wore a deep sapphire gown Hilda had let out at the waist from an older pattern. Frost embroidered along the cuffs shimmered in lamplight. Ronan donned dark formal attire, silver embroidery echoing claw marks. Hilda and Mirren greeted arriving alphas. Corin and Lisa distributed small woven wolves as table markers. At the head table, Selena sat at Ronan's right, Ilyana at her other side. Lady Ira, dressed in river-green silk, sat across, while Kalen claimed a seat 2 down, flanked by Vaughn and Reese. Dinner began with spiced venison and apple compote, followed by candied chestnuts. Conversation at first revolved around weather and trade, but soon drifted to Selena's frost training. Kalen asked thoughtful questions, occasionally leaning so his shoulder brushed hers. Ronan rested a hand on her knee beneath the table. Calm, not possessive, a quiet claim. Selena felt Kalis hum with satisfaction and Astra blush with warmth. Hilda and Mirren guided talk to mutual trade benefits. Lisa sang a new verse, voice high and sweet, about frost hearts shining bright. The hall applauded. Even Auric cracked a smile. The night stretched in warmth until a scout entered, cloak dusted with fresh snow. He approached Ronan, voice low but urgent. Selena felt frost tighten at her fingertips before she heard the words, scorched frost, rune burns near the south ridge. Ronan's hand tightened on hers. Calm wavered. Ira's expression sharpened. Kaelin leaned forward, curiosity turning serious. Ronan rose smoothly, voice pitched to keep panic at bay. My apologies. Council business calls. He nodded to Selena. First Protector will join me. The hall murmured as they excused themselves, Jonas and Vaughn following. In the side chamber, Ilyana awaited, sphere dimming to dull slate in her hand. Runes match the earlier sight, she said, but closer. Selena touched the cracked glass. Frost bloomed under her fingertips, then sizzled. She drew back. It's calling to my frost, mocking it. Ronan exhaled through his nose. We can't let guests see fear. We reinforce wards tonight. Jonas nodded. Scouts ready. Vaughn added, bowmen on inner walls until dawn. Kaelis pulsed firm intention. Astra sent a wave of strength. Selena clasped Ronan's hand. We lead together, openly. He looked into her eyes. Then we start now. Jonas dispatched runners the moment they left the side chamber. Selena followed Ronan into the torch-lit corridor that led to the inner yard. Snow gusted through an archway and slapped her cheeks with cold enough to sting. The two of them paused under the eave while horses were readied for a short perimeter sweep. Kaelis pressed at Ronan's senses, urging speed but not recklessness. Astra sang low under Selena's ribs, reminding her that stillness was also armor. Ronan issued crisp orders. No lanterns, keep torches shielded until you clear the south ridge. If the runes flare, release a green signal arrow. A guard saluted, sprinting to fetch the special shafts. Selena leaned in. Let me join that first patrol. Not tonight. He placed a steady palm on her waist. Your frost is a beacon. Whoever burned those runes might want exactly that. Seeing her protest, he softened his tone. Meet me at the east wall instead. I need you to strengthen the wards while Jonas's men confirm what's out there. She understood even if her heart balked. All right. As the patrol thundered out through a half-opened gate, Selena jogged across the courtyard. Snow muffled footfalls, and startled torches hissed in the sudden wind. She ascended the narrow stair to the east rampart, where Hilda, Myron, and Lysa already stood with two apprentice warders. Hilda's breath puffed like smoke. Captain sent word, Hilda said. We're your frost assistants again. Lysa's cheeks glowed with excitement. I brought extra chalk. Selena smiled despite her nerves. Our timing is perfect. She knelt at the parapet's base, drawing a clean line. Frost flowed from her fingertips, illuminating the rune before sinking into stone. Myron passed small pouches of powdered quartz. Scatter over the lines as she draws. They worked methodically. With each rune, Selena whispered a grounding breath, letting frost rise only as needed. Lisa watched in wonder. It looks like little stars. Hilda's cane thumped approval. Stars to guide us. When they finished, Selena straightened, wiping cold dust from her gloves. Ronan appeared at the rampart's end, footsteps steady despite the wind. He carried 2 steaming mugs. Handing her one, he said simply, Warm cider? She took a sip, finding relief in the spiced sweetness. They leaned against the wall, shoulder to shoulder, watching for the patrol's signal. Minutes passed in tense quiet. Astra hovered alert inside her chest. Kaelis remained a taut line in Ronan's mind, his growl a distant thunder. Myron gathered the apprentices, ushering Lisa below before the cold found her bones. Hilda lingered, eyes narrowed toward the woods. Ward lines glow true, she murmured, then descended with the others, leaving Ronan and Selena alone with the night. He reached for her hand. Scouts will light the sky green if runes flare. Until then, breathe. I am. She leaned into him, letting the steady thump of his pulse counter the rush of wind. But every gust feels like a warning. Fear doesn't lead us, it reminds us. He guided her gaze westward where lanterns glimmered in banquet hall windows. You brought calm in there tonight. Because you were beside me. She brushed his knuckles, voice low. Earlier, when Kalen flirted, jealousy flickered in you. It surprised me. Jealousy still surprises me. He exhaled. I don't enjoy admitting weakness. It isn't weakness. She stepped to face him fully. It shows you care deeply, just as I did when I felt the same with Era. She placed a palm on his chest. Jealousy can't break us unless we hide it. Kylus released a hum. Proud. Astra answered with gentle warmth, like a blanket tugged tighter around them. Snow eddied past in soft whirls. Behind them, the banquet's music resumed, a low pulse of drums and lyres, muffled by stone. The patrol's torch glow slipped through trees around the south ridge but never flared green. At last, the bell rang twice from the watchtower. Scouts returning. Relief unfurled in Selena's shoulders. Ronan squeezed her hand. Let's greet them. They crossed the yard as riders dismounted. Jonah swung down, wind-burned face relieved but tense. No fresh wounds, he reported. We found last night's char but nothing new. Whoever did it was long gone. Ronan set a hand on the captain's shoulder. Good work. Post lookouts in shifts. Selena and I will speak with the visitors. Jonas nodded, leading his riders to the stables. Ronan faced Selena. Ready to re-enter the feast? She blew warm breath into her palms. Better than letting rumors run wild. They stepped back into the banquet hall. Heat enveloped them, along with the scent of roasted root vegetables and mulled wine. Conversations dimmed as people noticed their return. Ronan offered a calm nod to reassure guests. Selena managed a gentle smile. Kalen raised a brow, curious but respectful, while Lady Era offered a small toast in their honor, easing tension. Hilda and Mirren guided the conversation toward the Conclave agenda. Corin and Lysa returned to their games along the dais steps. Selena sat, Ronan's knee brushing hers under the table, a subtle reminder of unity. They shared quiet bites of spiced squash and venison, while Ileana offered hush-voiced remarks about rune configurations. As the evening wound down, musicians played a soft ballad that turned conversations into murmurs. Guests retired gradually, servants clearing dishes. At last the hall emptied to flickering candles. Selena stood, sudden fatigue weighing her limbs. Ronan intercepted her cloak. Room? He asked. Please. She spotted Kalen chatting with Jonas near the hearth. As they walked past, he bowed slightly to her. Protector, rest well. His tone was polite, free of the earlier flirt. Ronan returned the nod. Kalis's rumble stayed calm, unthreatened. Upstairs, the corridor flickered with lanterns. Selena entered their shared chambers first. She unfastened her cloak. Ronan hung it beside his. The room smelled faintly of pine and wax, the hearth still glowing. He tossed a log onto embers, then turned. Shadows shifted across his strong features, softening the set of his mouth. You held everyone steady tonight. He brushed her cheek. You amaze me. I was terrified. She laughed, breath catching. But then you steady me. It's like breathing together. He stepped closer, hands sliding to her waist. Then let me steady you now. She rose onto her toes, lips meeting his in the hush. At first it was gentle. An exhale. A confession. His fingers threaded through her braid, loosening it. She reached for the silver clasps at his collar, freeing them. Fabric rustled softly. Kalis and Astra receded, peaceful and glowing deep inside, leaving human hearts to speak. They undressed with unhurried hands as though every button and lace was a memory they wanted to keep. His thumb stroked the edge of the rune ring over her heart before sliding it free of its chain, setting it on the bedside table. She traced the scar at his rib, feeling the breath catch beneath her touch, then smoothing her palm over the healed skin, as though sealing away all old pain. They lay down tangled in blankets. Light from the fire danced across their skin. They talked in low voices about stolen childhood days, dreams of spring gardens. the way her first frost flower nearly shattered a window, and how she feared she had broken the world. He told her of the night his father's rage nearly tore the pack apart, and how afterward silence seemed safer than leadership. In the middle of his words, she brushed her lips to his shoulder, tasting salt and tenderness. Their bodies slid together, not with urgency, but with an easy recognition, guided by long breaths. He kissed her slow, whispered her name like a vow. She answered with soft murmurs, letting go of every barrier. Heat built gently as limbs wound tighter. When he finally settled inside her, they exhaled the same breath, hearts drumming in sync. No rush, no fear, only the soft thrust and sway of two people learning each other's depths. The bond thrummed sweet and low. Kalis rested head on paws, eyes half-lidded. Astra lay curled against his flank, Silvertail draped across his back. Their hosts moved together until the peak crested, warmth releasing like dawn sunlight over frost. They stilled, bodies trembling, breaths mingled. After they lay facing each other, knees touching, hands exploring the quiet curve of hips and shoulders. She traced the soft line of his jaw. "I love the way you look at me." He kissed her fingertips. "Like you're the answer to every battle I fought alone." She smiled. "I think we're each other's piece." He pulled her into his chest. "Stay inside that thought." They drifted in and out of half-sleep, the fire burning low. Sometime in the night, distant bells tolled the third watch. Ronan slid from bed to add another log. Selena watched from the pillow, hair spilling across sheets. He rejoined her, wrapping them both in a thick blanket. She rested her head on his heart, listening to the steady thump. Pre-dawn light grayed the curtains. Snow still fell, softer now. Selena woke first, arm draped over Ronan's waist. Kalis lifted his ghostly head within the bond, sniffed the air, then settled. Astra sat nearby like a silver shadow watching the quiet world. Ronan stirred. "Almost morning." "It can wait a moment." She coaxed him to sit, wrapping the blanket across their shoulders. They walked barefoot to the window. Frost ribboned the glass, but through it, dawn glimmered, hinting at rose edges and pewter skies. A hush held the keep, heavy with sleeping breath. He held her close. "Whatever comes next, we don't run from it. And we don't face it alone." She laid her hand over his, fingers intertwining. Astra stepped forward, her spectral form coalescing beside Selena. Kalis appeared next to Ronan, taller, broad-chested, eyes glowing amber in pre-dawn blue. The wolves gazed out across the horizon, where distant dark clouds brood. Together they stood, two wolves, two hearts, holding the quiet long enough to see the first gold band scratch across the sky. It was not yet hope. It was faith made visible, bright and fragile, and worth every breath. Ronan and Selena dressed quietly once full daylight brightened the frost-laced panes, a hush so deep even the hearth seemed reluctant to crackle. Outside, bells for first work crew rang out. Selena secured her cloak, tucked the rune ring beneath layers, and slipped her hand into Ronan's as they left the chamber. Downstairs, the keep already buzzed. Servants hauled baskets of white pine branches for conclave garlands. Corin and Lisa darted among them, giggling while placing carved wolves on window ledges. Hilda supervised from a chair near the entrance, cane tapping directions. "You two look rested," she said, eyebrows waggling. "Blame her," Ronan replied, jerking his head toward Selena. Selena feigned shock. "Moi?" Lisa tugged Selena's cloak. "We wrote a new verse for the visiting alphas. Want to hear?" Hilda waved permission. The children sang in soft chorus. "Frost and Fang together stand. Brighter than the winter land, and shadow fades, the moon stands true. Pack stays strong because of you." Selena's eyes prickled. She crouched, hugging them both. "You make the world better." Corin shrugged. "We just sing." "Songs have power," she whispered. Mirren approached with a stack of scrolls. "Speaking of power, Elder Auric needs signatures on the Conclave agenda." Ronan accepted the scrolls. Tell Auric we're on our way. As they headed to the council chamber, a hush fell outside. Hooves clopped. A second Silver Ridge party arrived bearing crates of mountain wine. Alpha Kalen led the group, face lit by crisp morning shine. Early errands, he greeted, thought I'd deliver personal thanks for last night's welcome. Ronan offered a polite nod, grateful for the gift. Kalen's glance lingered on Selena's braid. Protector, your frost-warding demonstration fascinated my escort. Selena smiled. If time allows, you're welcome to watch our midday ward reinforcement. I'd welcome that. Kalen's grin widened, but he inclined his head respectfully and stepped aside. Ronan's grip tightened fractionally on Selena's hand as they passed. Astra whispered gentle humor. Kalis snorted, amused by Ronan's renewed flicker of jealousy. In the council chamber, Auric pored over parchment while Nadra polished her spectacles. Ilyana stood near the hearth, swirling her crystal. Jonas, Vaughn, and Reese arranged seat markers. Lady Era leaned against a window ledge watching snow drift. Selena took a seat beside Ronan. Auric cleared his throat. Conclave begins at second bell after noon. We will greet delegations in the banqueting court, proceed with welcome speeches, then separate panels: trade, security, and defense. Vaughn laid out a hand-drawn map. Mixed patrol show tomorrow morning. Demonstration of unity. Selena will lead ward weaving while Reese directs archery formations. Auric tapped the table. Some alphas may object to a frostborn instructing their soldiers. Ronan met his gaze. They came to witness Crescent Fang's strength. She is integral to that. Selena added, anyone unwilling to learn can watch. The wards themselves will not discriminate. Nadra smiled at that. Lady Era folded her arms, clearly pleased. Ilyana placed the crystal on the table. The glow pulsed quicker than yesterday. The blood moon's pull accelerates. By next Sen-night, the surge may peak. We must anchor power now. Reese whistled quietly. Faster than forecasts. Selena squared her shoulders. I'll reinforce the East Forest wards before dusk. Volunteers welcome. Auric scribbled notes. Scout teams? Jonas answered. Pairs on staggered routes every 4 hours. No one rides alone. The meeting adjourned. As participants filed out, Selena lingered with Ronan. Lady Era approached. I see unity has real roots here, Era said. She glanced between them. Riverstone stands at your side against any Shadow Weaver. Your support matters more than trade, Ronan said. Trade matters too. Era winked, then departed. Kalen appeared behind her, arms folded. May I observe the warding lesson? Selena nodded. Yes, meet us near the North Grove at midday. Ronan offered a cordial bow, then guided Selena away. Outside, Mirren awaited with a cloak pin shaped like twin wolves facing a crescent moon. For you, Mirren said, fastening it at Selena's collar. Symbol of dual guardians. Thank you, Selena breathed. Snow sparkled under noon sun as villagers and soldiers gathered at the North Grove. Children perched on fence rails, breath puffing excitement. Selena stood at the center circle, palms raised. Ronan and the captains arranged the crowd into a half ring. Focus on breath, Selena said, voice clear. Inhale 4 counts. Exhale as you speak the rune name. She touched chalk to ground, drawing a spiral that flashed frost. Lysa watched wide-eyed from beside Hilda. Hilda clapped twice. Copy her. Alpha Kalen stepped forward among his Silver Ridge escorts. Selena gestured to the free space at her left. He knelt, curious, replicating her breath pattern. Frost laced into his chalk line, faint but true. Murmurs of surprise rippled through onlookers. Kalen grinned. Feels like shaking hands with winter. Selena chuckled. Winter politely shakes back. Ronan circulated, praising each attempt. Astra pulsed approval each time a villager's rune held steady. Kalis prowled mentally, proud of the growing unity. After an hour, the grove sparkled with linked runes forming a luminous web hugging the trunks. The final step merged all lines. Selena pressed both palms to snow and whispered a steady rune phrase. Frost blossomed outward, lacing every symbol into a single shimmering shield. Gasps and applause filled the grove. Kaelin bowed slightly to Selena, eyes alight. A remarkable talent. Ronan appeared at her side, voice warm. And generous teacher. Selena flushed. Unity's nothing if hoarded. Ira clapped Ronan on the shoulder. She may mend more than walls. Hilda, leaning on her cane, called out, "Lessons dismissed, soup in the courtyard." Cheers scattered volunteers. Selena and Ronan remained until only Corin and Lysa were left, tracing patterns in residual snow sparkle. Selena kneeled. Ready to learn the breath? The children nodded enthusiastically. She guided them through small runes until each traced a perfect horseshoe shape that glimmered, then faded. Their triumphant squeals echoed off the pines. Ronan waited, smiling. When Selena rose, he murmured, "Your calm changes people. You change me first." She slipped her gloved hand into his. Snow dusted their shoulders as they walked back. Afternoon light softened, clouds thickened to pewter. Inside the great hall, final touches for the welcome dinner were set. Garlands draped beams, new wolf-carved candle holders lined tables, frost-etched lanterns glowed azure on windowsills. Selena paused at the entry. Workers' chatter, the clink of dishes, and the scent of roasted root vegetables wove comforting hearthlight through the air. Mirren guided servers. "Save the honey cakes for last or Corin will raid the trays." Lysa giggled behind her. Jonas inspected seating order. "Place Kaelin here, Era opposite. Keep rivals separated by food." Selena laughed quietly. Ronan, reading the chart, said, "Mixing allies and skeptics keeps conversation civilized." "Or fiery," Vaughn countered, setting pitchers of spiced wine. By dusk, candles flickered like little stars. Delegates filed in wearing cloaks trimmed in colors of their packs. Music drifted from a small ensemble near the dais. Selena, at Ronan's right, greeted each arrival with calm courtesy. Kaelin paused to kiss her knuckles before taking his seat, Ronan's gaze tracking the gesture, but remaining composed. Astra offered Selena playful encouragement. Kaelis teased Ronan with a mental twitch of ears. Dinner progressed smoothly. Conversation layered over music, clinking glasses, bursts of laughter. Hilda relayed amusing pack anecdotes. Mirren coaxed shy young messengers into eating more stew. Ronan and Selena answered questions about Frostcraft and mixed patrols. Even Oric's stiff reserve thawed under Lysa's cheerful recounting of ward lessons. Midway through dessert, a hush swept the hall. The main doors parted for a lone scout, cloak dripping snowmelt. He knelt before the dais, breath ragged. "Forgive the intrusion, I bear urgent news." Ronan stood. "Rise." Fresh rune burns discovered at Mistfen Hollow, barely 5 miles east. Snow scorched to glass, flames cold as ice. Gasps erupted. Kaelin set down his glass. Era's mouth tightened. Selena felt frost sting her fingertips. Her pendant vibrated faintly. Astra braced her heart. Ronan's hand closed around hers, grounding both of them. He addressed the room. "Remain calm. Crescent Fang will investigate and protect all guests." He nodded to Jonas. "Summon captains to the war room at once." Selena added, voice steady, "Please finish your meals. The wards hold strong." The scout bowed and exited. Murmurs surged, but Hilda clapped for attention. "Eat while your hosts secure the walls. Fear travels faster than truth." Her authority soothed the immediate agitation. Ronan and Selena excused themselves. Jonas, Vaughn, Reese, Ileana, Nadra, and Oric followed. In the war room, Selena spread a fresh map. The scout indicated Mistfen Hollow near a curve of the frozen river. Ileana's crystal flickered black where it rested above the marked spot. "Shadow Weaver magic intensifying," she warned. "And drawn to you, Selena." Selena's breath chilled. Ronan stood behind her, hands bracketing her shoulders. "You'll never face it alone." His tone left no space for argument. Jonas pointed at patrol paths. "Recommend a 4-prong approach." Selena shook her head. No large force tonight. We need quiet scouting. Wards first. Push the zone out tomorrow at dawn. Vaughn agreed. And we cannot leave the conclave unguarded. Auric exhaled, tension lining his brow. We will post archers on every turret. Ilyana placed a frost-dusted vial beside Selena. Essence of moon salt. Pour this around any new rune. It weakens Shadow Weaver grip. Selena pocketed the vial. Kalis chimed through Ronan. Approval and readiness. Astra filtered calm determination to Selena. The council dispersed swiftly. Guards moved with silent purpose, torches shielded. Selena walked with Ronan down the corridor. He touched her elbow. One more warding sweep, then rest? She nodded. And you? Lead mixed sentries along the eastern wall. I'll return before dawn. Reluctance flickered across her face. He tilted her chin. We promised. Never alone. Kalis will stay with you while I'm out. She mustered a smile. And Astra will pace every step at your side. They parted at the courtyard archa. Selena gathered 2 apprentices and Hilda, trekking to the inner ward line. Under starlight, they sprinkled moon salt at key junctions. Frost flared silver, then calmed. When they returned, Hilda squeezed Selena's fingers. Your strength is bigger than fear. Selena hugged her. Your cane does half the work. Hilda chuckled, cane tapping off toward her quarters. Selena entered her chambers alone. She removed cloak and boots, then poured water into the basin, washing rune dust from her palms. Tension unwound slowly. Astra drifted close inside, a soft presence. Selena whispered a single promise. He'll come back. Hours later, the latch turned. Ronan entered, snow-specked and weary. She rushed to him, arms wrapping around his waist. His breath caught in her hair. The bond hummed low like a distant drum now returned. Kalis lay at peace within him. Astra touched Selena's heart with gentle light. He stripped cold layers away while she stirred embers. Finally, they curled together beneath blankets. Neither spoke of the Shadow Weaver prints Jonas reported or the scouts shivering on distant ridges. They spoke only of warmth needed now, his palm on her back, her lips against his collarbone, the quiet hush where fear could not trespass. They moved unhurried, learning each sigh all over again. Their bodies carried the same promise as their words. We meet danger not with armor alone, but with hearts wide open. When they slept, Kalis and Astra dozed at the foot of their shared dream. Silver tails crossed. Dawn tiptoed up the winter sky. Selena woke first, blanket sliding as she rose to stand by the window. Mistfen Hollow's ridge smoldered dark on the horizon, but the keep within these walls glowed gold-pink in newborn light. She brushed a hand across the glass, leaving a frosted crescent. Ronan stirred, eyes following the gesture. Whatever comes, we meet it together, he said, voice rough but sure. She turned, hair tousled, skin kissed by firelight. And we face it as one. Kalis and Astra materialized, spectral shapes stretching like cats after sleep. They stood beside their hosts, sharing the watch. Ronan draped a blanket around Selena's shoulders and around his own. They pressed against the cold sill, arms wound tight. Outside, the turrets cast long shadows on snow. Scouts changed shifts. On the horizon, the sun crested, illuminating fresh banners fluttering over the Conclave pavilion. Wolf and Crescent, Frost Lily and Riverstone all bright under dawn. It was not peace but a promise of it, forged by love and defended by unity. And at that window, shielded by frost and fire, 2 hearts pledged in silence to hold that promise, whether dawn brought light or storm.